Good evening, you are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. Registered in the Sultanate and 176 cases recovered. Russia tries again to win UN approval for virus resolution. And a number of American states are easing lockdown as economic hardship grows and Iran lets some Tehran businesses reopen after the virus lockdown. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. The Ministry of Health announced 100 and brings the total number registered in the Sultanate to 1,180, including 6 deaths. The Ministry of Health stresses that 176 cases have been.
Within the efforts to limit the spread of COVID-19, the ministry advises all citizens and residents to keep on washing hands with water and soap. Avoid touching the face, nose, mouth and eyes. Follow hygienic habits when coughing and sneezing. Adhere strictly to social distancing instructions. Stay at home and not to go out unless absolutely necessary. Adhering to isolation and social distancing will prevent you, your family and the community from COVID-19.
Of the decisions by the Supreme Committee dealing with COVID-19 developments by closing the governorate of Muscat to limit the spread of the coronavirus. Meanwhile, ROP continues to spread awareness messages among the citizens and residents in various wilayas of the governorate of Muscat through its patrols and drones. The governorate was closed back in April 10th on Friday morning, and the lockdown is expected to continue until the 22nd of April. Coronavirus continues its spread around the world as it reaches around 2.2 million positive cases, half of them in Europe, with the recovery of more than 581,000 cases. In Spain, the infected cases exceeded 191,000 and the death cases reached more than 20,000 cases due to the virus. In the United States of America, the death cases exceeded 37,100 as the infected cases with the COVID-19 exceeded 710,200 positive cases. In Italy, around 172,400 people got infected with the coronavirus and recorded more than 22,700 death cases of the virus. The total COVID-19 cases in the United Kingdom reached more than 108,600 positive cases, as the total number of death cases due to the virus reached 14,400 cases. In Russia, the total number of COVID-19 infected cases reached more than 36,700 cases, where the death cases of the virus reached 313. Russia is trying again to win the UN General Assembly approval for a resolution on the coronavirus pandemic, dropping a call to end the unilateral sanctions without the UN Security Council approval, but still calling for an end to the protectionist practices. The 193-member world body has until noon EDT to consider the revised Russian draft resolution, which is called a Declaration of Solidarity of the United Nations in the face of the challenges posed by the coronavirus disease. The General Assembly instituted new voting rules because it isn't holding meetings as a result of the pandemic. Normally, Assembly resolutions are adopted by the majority votes or by consensus, but now if a single country objects, a resolution is defeated. Facing rising unemployment and with many of their citizens struggling to make ends meet, governments around the world are wrestling with when and how to ease the restrictions designed to control the coronavirus pandemic. In the United States, the debates have started ahead of this fall's presidential elections. Republican President Donald Trump urged supporters to liberate 3 states led by Democratic governors, Minnesota, Michigan, Virginia, tweeting the kind of rhetoric some have used to demand an end to stay-at-home orders that have thrown millions out of work. Texas and Florida, which both have Republican governors, took first steps towards easing restrictions. Texas governors said stores could begin selling curbside, non-essential surgery could resume, and state parks could reopen. In Florida, the governors said municipalities could reopen beaches and parks if they could do it safely. Iran has allowed some businesses in the capital and nearby towns to reopen after weeks of lockdown aimed at containing the worst coronavirus outbreak in the Middle East. Iran was slow to respond to the pandemic and held off in imposing widespread restrictions even after other countries in the region with far fewer cases forced most businesses to close. Iran reported more than 80,000 confirmed cases and over 5,000 deaths. Iran's leaders said that they had to consider the economic consequences of the quarantine measures. The country is under severe sanctions imposed by President Donald Trump after he withdrew the U.S. from Tehran's nuclear deal with world powers. The World Health Organization announced that there had been a 51% increase in reported coronavirus cases in Africa, while reported deaths on the continent were up by 60%. Speaking at a conference in Geneva, Dr. Tedros Adhanom, Director General of WHO, warned the figures for Africa could be higher due to the challenges countries were facing in obtaining tests for the virus. Dr. Tedros also addressed concerns around wet markets, the markets across Asia where live animals and wildlife are often sold for food. Still to come on News Bulletin. Media content witnesses prominent activity in Bahraini.
Non-compliance with the directives of the Supreme Committee dealing with coronavirus COVID-19 exposes you to risk and legal action. Stay safe.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Quality crops are available at the farms in the villages of the Governorate of Al-Dhahira. The consumers can find all types of fruits, vegetables, and grain products in the market of the Governorate. It's worth mentioning that the farmers in the wilayas of the Governorate are exerting great efforts to provide the local markets with the seasonal crops within the current situation of the spread of the coronavirus, as the bodies concerned are monitoring the prices and safety of the products for the consumers. The creation of meaningful media content witnesses prominent activity in the Governorate of Al-Buraimi. This activity coincides with the developments of the coronavirus COVID-19. A number of works emerged in the Governorate which go on lines with the current situation that requires collaboration of various society segments. Sulaiman Al-Isai, a citizen from Buraimi, made an awareness film through which he delivered a message to society and the whole of Oman, giving them hope that Oman and the whole world will win the war soon against coronavirus COVID-19 and everything will go back to normal. Another program entitled Al Buraymi Faces Coronavirus is broadcasted on Monday and Thursday. The program is made by a theater group from the governorate. The launching of this program coincides with COVID-19 pandemic being witnessed by Oman and the whole world. The program is broadcasted on Al Buraymi channel, through which a number of key figures representing various sectors in the governorate are hosted. The media content in the governorate of Al Buraymi represented in programs and films are meant for raising awareness among citizens and residents about COVID-19 and the precautionary measures to be followed to curb the spread of this pandemic. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. 111 new cases of COVID-19 are registered in the Sultanate and 176 cases are recovered. Russia tries again to win the UN approval for virus resolution. And a number of American states are easing lockdown as the economic hardship grows, and Iran lets some Tehran businesses reopen after the virus lockdown. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, we urge you to stay home and stay safe.